Hello, and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2024-25 season. Is that what year we're in? I think so. It's a hat kind of day today. How is everyone? We are in a bit early today. I'm just still, I was actually putting a tweet out to get people to come to the stream because they might not know we're going early today. So if you just bear with me 1 minute whilst I finish my my tweet for the stream. Yeah, we're super organised as always, as you can probably tell, guys. Right, so we need to find the link here. Deadline stream, and then we'll do a little one of them. Post the link. And there we have it. The stream is tweeted out. There we have it. Very, very well done. Good afternoon, everyone. Or good afternoon, good evening. It depends where in the world you are. It could be morning for certain people. I don't know how people in other time zones around the world are dealing with the evening games. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is the game scheduled during working hours, or is it in the middle of the night for you? Who knows? It depends where you are. It really, really does. But I think we've got a whole lot to talk about today, to be fair, which is why I thought we'd go a little early. We've got just under 2.5 hours until the deadline. So plenty to talk about. Assistant managers. A lot of people still on the assistant manager thinking about a transfer there. Maybe you've done it already, maybe you haven't. Other transfers in general. I know there's some injuries to the likes of Gakpo and Ahmad. We've got to do some injury roundups as well, and we'll start to put some of them down in the ticker as well for anyone joining late. And what else have we got? Captaincy. I think that's worth a discussion. Fixtures and double game weeks and blank game weeks. Been working on that this week to try and figure out what on earth is going on. So if you haven't seen it already, I'll be sharing my latest calendar fixture, double and blank game week calendar for this season. And then what else have we got? Benching headaches. We're going to need a bench list today, guys. I know so many of you guys have bench-related questions. So, yeah, it's a super interesting one. A super interesting one indeed. But before we do any of that stuff, I do want to share with you my team. So, here is my team. Kind of. I still haven't decided who I'm going to play for my third defender. Gabriel's going to play. Kirkes is going to play. One of Hall, Trent, and Castagna is going to play. I think Castagna is the least likely. But I might play Trent instead of Hall. But I'm not super convinced either way. If I'm totally honest, I think they're both blank this week. So it's a case of who do I think is going to concede the most goals. And I think it's probably going to be Trent. So that's kind of leading me that way at the moment, which ain't great. But I think my attack, I'm not seeing one better. Honestly, I posted this out on Twitter earlier today, challenging people to find a better front seven than this for this game week specifically. And nobody has managed to do it. I think maybe if you have Mitoma instead of Palmer, maybe, then that would be the ultimate midfield and attack for this game week. But outside of that, double Bournemouth attack against Wolves, double Brentford attack against Leicester. We've got Isak against Forest. Salah's always fantastic, and Palmer ain't too bad most of the time. That front seven for me is elite, and I know some people say, well, I prefer Wood, I prefer Mateta. But let's be totally real. Nobody's captaining Mateta. Nobody is captaining Wood. Every one of these attackers I have on my screen right now, I've seen people captaining those players. And I think that says it all. If I have all of the captainable assets for this game week, then surely that's a very good sign. Surely that's a good sign. Super chat here from Hammocks, who says, currently got 8 players out for Game Week 29, so pretty wedded to free hitting. Any of the buys players are making with 29 in mind that is worth going for? Okay, kind of players you might buy. if you are guaranteed free hitting in game week 29, I'd be looking to try and set up for game week 32 primarily. So that's going to involve bringing in Newcastle and Crystal Palace players. I think Mateta, Munoz, if you don't have these guys already, I would definitely be having a look at those guys. Particularly Mateta if you're looking for a new forward. We also have a Newcastle. If you haven't got Isak, of course you're going to go for him. Do you start thinking, oh, maybe I'll bring in Hall? If you, maybe you've sold him recently, maybe you never had him. Do you bring in Hall? Gordon, maybe. Don't know if I would overload this week, but honestly, if you are free hitting in game week 29, it could be worth starting to save some transfers and build them up, because certainly, let's find my fixture calendar. Well, let's find my that is an old one. Let's refresh here. Refresh. If Twitter will work, is my internet slow today? If so, why? I have no idea. Let's find my calendar. Here you are. Beautiful. Oh, Finna, thank you so much. Beer on me. Good luck this weekend. Thank you so much, Finna. That's so generous of you. Well, I may enjoy the beer. I may enjoy the beer. Thank you very much. Andrea says Tom sent me. FPL Tom? If so, shout out Tom. Thank you very much, Tom. Or is it my friend Tom in real life? Maybe he's at the office right now, recommending FPL Mate to his colleagues. Who knows? We've got another super chat here from National United who says, would you transfer Slot to Glasner using last free transfer, knowing next week you would want Palmer and Cunha? Would you remove Wood for Cunha next week? Good content. I don't think you need to buy Cunha necessarily. This fixture table doesn't take us to the most recent fixture. So if we go instead to the hub ticker, and we look at Wolves, I don't think, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, these are not must buy. Fulham are actually number one for defence over the past 6 game weeks. They've been putting up really good defensive performances. And now that Strand Larsen is back, Cunha is probably going to move back to the wing position, with Strand Larsen taking the position up front. So I think Cunha is a good pick, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he is a must buy. So, you say, I know I'm going to have to buy Cunha next week. I don't think you do have to buy Cunha next week at all. I don't think that is something you need to do. So maybe that helps and frees up a potential transfer to go for an assistant manager switch if you wanted to. Now, I'm personally sticking on slots, but I think there's options for maybe going for Glasner if you want to take a risk. Like, Glasner is super, super risky, because I think my opinion is Fulham will beat Crystal Palace. Obviously, there's no guaranteed, and football is a random game, but you are hoping for those unexpected results there, I think. Oh, Andrew says golden goal. Golden goal, FPL sent you here. That is unexpected, I have to say, but awesome. But anyway, yes, Cunha not a must buy for me, but a good pick regardless. Going back to Hammock's point about kind of trying to, if you are free hitting in game week 29, how you might want to set up for future game weeks. So this is my calendar. Sorry, no Ben Crellin calendars. I mean, even Ben Crellin is struggling a little bit with the fixtures himself, and there is a lot of uncertainty here, and I can totally respect he doesn't want to commit to any particular outcome because there is so much uncertainty. But I thought I would try and give it a prediction anyway, even though I'm probably going to be wrong, but just to try and give us an idea of what we think might happen. And if we're looking towards, if you're free hitting in game week 29, that means you're not going to be wildcarding before game week 32 and 33. So your transfers really should be with one eye on 32 and 33. So Crystal Palace and Newcastle players, and then the most likely teams to double in 33 are going to be those Man City players there as well. So you might consider going for some Man City guys. So Marmoush or Gvardiol, or maybe not Gvardiol this week. Liverpool, tough one. Maybe Haaland, maybe Foden, Savinho, if you fancy taking a bit of a risk there, but I'm not totally convinced yet. So those are the kind of players I'd be looking at doing. If you're free hitting in Game Week 29, I really would be making effort to start to think about Game Week 33. If you think that's going to be a bench boost week for you in particular, that's the direction I'd be thinking. Because the people who aren't free hitting in 29, of course, are going to be wild carding Game Week 30, 31, maybe even 32. And they're going to be really, really hammering all of the great players with better information. So one eye on that, whether that's saving transfers or going in early on players, is the direction I would go. That's the direction I would go. So there you have it. That's us caught up on the super chats. But yeah, just going back to my team. Yes, we have locked in Dango. Rodgers to Dango is the move. I don't know if that was a completely necessary transfer. I think Rodgers is fine for this week. I think he's absolutely fine. But Dango is probably a little bit better. And Rodgers blanks in 29. Dango doesn't, in theory. Although we did get the news today that Evan Nilsson is ahead of schedule on his return. So you do wonder if Dango is going to be playing back on the wing in the near future. It's going to be a few weeks, realistically, before Evan Nilsson is back. But by the time we get to Game Week 29, there's a chance that Dango could be back on the wing. Which I think is fine. But it's not as good, is it? So you're really hoping for the upside in these next couple of fixtures for Dango. We'll just have a look here. Wolves, Brighton, maybe Spurs. Brentford is a little bit more, I don't know, I guess risky. I think by the time we get to Game Week 30, though, I don't imagine Dango will be playing striker anymore by that point, which is a little disappointing. And then, you know, as more Bournemouth midfielders and forwards become available, we're going to have more early subs. We're going to have players playing in different positions and things will get a little bit techie. But generally, for now, I really like Dango. And honestly, like, I don't know who else I would have gone for. Maybe Nwaneri. But even Nwaneri, there's a chance that Saka is back for Chelsea in Game Week 29. And if that's the case, then that puts Nwaneri's minutes at risk. So I don't think there is an obvious solution. But the solution is certainly not Rodgers for Game Week 29. That's all I'll say on that one. So with my free transfer, I've gone early on Dango. And let's see if we can capitalise in the next couple of weeks. With the triple up on Bournemouth. Crazy. And yes, Slot will stay in my team. Pot Noodle says, why so early, Dan? I don't know, mate, to be honest. I've got nothing to do today. Is the short answer. Uploaded my final video of the week, I suppose. When was that? Yesterday. And yeah, often on a Friday, I'll do like a roundup of team news and stuff like that, and like all of the injury updates. But we didn't even get the final injury updates and the press conferences until 2:30 today. That was only an hour and a half ago. So, you know, my videos take usually, even if I'm super efficient with it, I wouldn't have been able to get a video up until probably 5. And then you've got 1.5 hours till deadline. So pointless doing that if I was to make a video today. So we just thought we'd go early on the stream today. Which is cool. It means we get to talk for a little bit longer. You guys can hop in, hop out. Why did you move early on Dango? Just because I don't know if is it early really. His good fixtures are already started. They started last week. If anything, I'm 1 week late to the party. So really, it's more like I'm going early on removing Rodgers than early on bringing in Dango, because Dango's great. He's great. P Sharp says, as a fellow Gooner, Dan, I can't see Saka being rushed at all. Game 29 feels early. I don't think he'll be rished before the international break. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not talking in certainties here at all. I'm just kind of trying to evaluate the risk. And there is some risk there. You know, particularly if Liverpool drop a few points as well, and Arsenal really, really have, you know, this opportunity to win the Premier League, which when all of the injury news came out around Arsenal and all of these players missing, Jesus, Havertz, Saka, who else is missing? Seems like everyone's missing. you know, at that point we thought, okay, it's not looking good for Arsenal right now. But then you have Liverpool dropping points against Everton, dropping points against Aston Villa, and suddenly the conversation switches again. And in terms of league form, I think Arsenal are doing better than Liverpool. Premier League form table. So if you look at the form table, what am I doing? Yeah, Arsenal slightly better than Liverpool on the form table. In fact, even Everton doing just as well as Liverpool on the form table. So it's super interesting. Game in hand, could get to the Chelsea game, and suddenly things are looking very, very interesting. Chelsea's a big game. Like, so Saka, I can see a universe in which Saka is rushed back, but who knows? Who knows? Just gotta look at the possibilities. Martinelli as well. Yeah, I forgot about him. It's a very, very, very big, very good point. Oh, I've just realised I'm on the wrong tab, so you can't even see the form table that I've just put on screen. That's pretty dumb of me. There you go. Let's throw that back on screen for you. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, people asking about Stick to FPL this week. Yeah, unfortunately, Sim was unavailable to record this week, and I couldn't find a like a replacement co-host at short notice that I was happy with. So I decided to just cancel the whole show for the week. So apologies for that, but we will be back. We will be back. But yeah, it's crazy. We see the numbers on the Stick to FPL YouTube channel, and whilst there's a few thousand people watching each episode, I didn't really realise how many people actually care, and the messages I have received, people asking where's the podcast. It's quite it's quite nice, really. So guys, if you haven't checked out the Stick to FPL podcast, which is the podcast I run with my friend and TikTok content creator FPL Sim, yeah, check it out. Stick to FPL. It's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you guys like to check out your podcasts. And we're doing quite well on TikTok as well. We're doing quite well on TikTok. Crazily. Duncan says, oh God, if Arsenal win the league, we'll never hear the end of it. In fairness, no, you won't. Yeah, it's going to be akin to when Liverpool won the league a couple of seasons ago. Arsenal fans, they are unbearable already, but they will become more unbearable, Arsenal fans. They really, really will. So that'll be, if you are an Arsenal fan, it'll be a fun couple of months. But yeah, I can't really see it happening, to be honest. Can't see it happening. Thank you, by the way, for the comments in the chat, the compliments about Stick to FPL. Kabalash says, the podcast is nice since it shows the difference between stats and eye-watching managers. Yet both you and Sim do well in FPL. Thank you so much. Weekend Fixes, really great podcast and worth a watch. Great banter, great info, and a bit of fun. Look forward to the next one. Yeah, we try and keep it light. We try and keep it a lot lighter. There you go. Shakir says, do a show in the summer talking about whatever you want. Going to be a tough summer without FPL. Would you guys really watch me talking about anything else? I'm sure there'll be some videos over the summer. Don't worry. We always find something to talk about here on the channel. But it is nice. It's nicer in the summer when there's an international tournament. Because I really, really love doing World Cup fantasy or Euro fantasy. That's great fun. Like, obviously we've got over a year until the next tournament, summer tournament. But yeah, if you guys haven't got involved with the international fantasy games, they're super, super fun, man, and a real change of pace from FPL as well. Jeremy says, I loved your summer series a few years ago. Yeah, FPL Summer Camp, whatever happened to that? I know what happened to that. FPL Summer Camp was a show I ran a couple of years ago during the summer, and there was like some problems with recording, and people were not turning up to episodes and stuff like that, and it just became too much of a pain, so I just gave that up. We did a few episodes of the FPL Summer Camp. Maybe we can revive the FPL Summer Camp. That could be fun. Anyway, back to FPL. I mean, the good thing about going early is we can chill out a little bit. We can talk a little more casually and be a bit more chatty today because we've got some time. We've got some time here. There's the FIFA Club World Cup this year. Do you think they'll do fantasy for that, though? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Maybe. Right. Okay, where do we start? Where do we start here? Let's have a look at Rob T. Because I believe he posted... Oh, well, he's just posted some updates now in 13 minutes ago. So that's pretty good timing. So let's check out the market odds. Shout out Rob T. Big up. We'll have a look at... Let's just go through it all. Why not? We've got 4 graphics here. Let's go through them all. So... And this is going to be helpful for your assistant managers. This is going to be helpful for the players you're picking as well. We can see that the teams with the highest clean sheet chances are Arsenal at 52%. So that's gone up slightly. Bournemouth at 34%. I believe that's gone up slightly as well. Then Brighton, it was also 34% of a chance of a clean sheet. Then after that, it's Fulham and Newcastle down to 29% here. Interesting stuff. So we're thinking now, maybe I don't play Lewis Hall. Because honestly, like my team, because I have these 3 defenders, I just don't know which one to play. I really can't decide. I'm kind of, you know, in these coin toss situations, usually I just revert to stats, odds, that kind of stuff. If I can't make a decision, I'll let algorithms make them for me. Call me lazy, but I think it's a good way to take the bias out of it a little bit. But considering that Newcastle's clean sheet odds have dropped, maybe Hall goes to the bench. We play Trent, Hall and Castagna on the bench. Coin toss. Maybe a 3-way coin toss, clickers, because it's Trent, Hall and Castagna. I'd be reasonably comfortable playing all 3 of them this week, and I can only play 1. So it's very tough. It's very tough. But anyway, so who else do we have here with good clean sheet odds? Everton, not bad, 29%. Man United fans look away because it looks like Everton are odds on to actually beat Manchester United this week. That is not looking good, brev. Yeah, crazy stuff there. So Pickford looking good. It may be Mikalenko if you have him. You could play him. You could play him. Let's look at Liverpool here. 19% chance of a clean sheet. So that has actually tightened up with Hall over the past 24, 48, whatever hours. Over those market odds. So yeah, Liverpool were a little lower before. Newcastle were a little higher. So it seems like Newcastle's defence is trending downwards and Liverpool's defence is trending upwards, which is quite nice to see. So maybe Trent is the obvious solution there. And then any other teams, any other defences you guys are maybe considering? We have Nottingham Forest at 15%. Probably not going to play your Forest defenders this week. Unless it's Sells, you'd probably just stick Sells in goal and hope he makes a whole bunch of saves. Not really anyone else out there. I mean, we've got Daniel Munoz, 20%. Crystal Palace, a decent defence, particularly away from home. Could think about it. But super tough, isn't it? I think we probably back Fulham, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Everton defenders above like our Crystal Palace defenders. Unless you factor in Munoz's attacking threat, that maybe puts him ahead of someone like Mikalenko, who doesn't have as much attacking threat. But yeah, not super high. Let's see if they can bust the stats. But Fulham are looking really good at the moment. So yeah, it's interesting. Right, let's go on to the projected assistant manager points now and see what is going on here. So, Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, 8.6 projected assistant manager points. Hey, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's the safe pick, certainly, isn't it? Then we've got Ruud van Nistelrooy 7.7, Oliver Glasner 7.7. And Kieran McKenna 7.5 against Spurs. So all three of those guys are eligible for table bonus. So it seems like if you don't want to go for table bonus, just go for Arteta for your assistant manager this week. Play it super simple, super straight. There's no need to mess around too much on that one. However, if you want to take a risk, I mean, I know some people will be saying, oh yeah, what about Hertzler versus Southampton, Iraola against Wolves? Yeah, if it's a budget issue, then maybe. But like, you know, Arsenal are a better team, have a good fixture. They are more of a reliable team. I mean, we looked at their form table. Was it 5 wins in the last 6, 1 draw? Pretty reliable, man. 79% chance of a win. That's super high. You probably don't even bother messing around with Brighton and Bournemouth. You just go straight with the Arsenal assistant manager. Makes sense, right? Sid Fisher says -4 Gakpo to Wissa or Cunha, or just start Rodgers. I would start Rodgers before taking a -4 to remove Gakpo. I would just start Rodgers, yeah. And Gakpo could even be back against City. If not, and by the way, I don't think Gakpo is going to start against City, but you know, he could be on the bench, and then he's probably, you know, we're probably looking at Cunha back in game week 27. 28, he faces Southampton. So if you can cover Gakpo this week with someone else, there's certainly an argument to say, just keep Gakpo. Just keep him. So anyway, Mikel Arteta, if you don't want table bonus, if you do want table bonus, it's interesting to see Leicester here against Brentford. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'm not super convinced by that. Because Leicester are a bit rubbish. Kablash says, we say reliable Arsenal, lost 2-0 to West Ham last season, this exact same time. Yeah, exactly. It's a year ago. It's a completely different situation. It's a year ago. And by the way, that game, Arsenal should have won. Random things happen in FPL. And random things will happen, by the way, in FPL. There is a very solid chance that anything can happen. West Ham could win 10-0 against Arsenal. You know, Liverpool could lose 30-0 to Man City. Strange things happen in football. But it's just about playing the odds here. And the odds suggest that Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are really the only heavy favourites of this game week. The only super heavy favourites. The next like best win percentages are Hertzler at 63% against Southampton and Iraola at home to Wolves, 62%. So there's a big jump there. And even after that, the next jump is all the way down to Newcastle against Forest at 53%. So again, a big jump. Big jump. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, 220,000 subscribers. We hit that today. So yeah, that was our season target, was to hit 220,000 subscribers. Maybe I set the target a little bit low this season. I wasn't expecting too much from this season. I thought honestly that we might be finished over at FPL Mate Industries. I thought we might be cooked. I thought we might be washed. But apparently we're still going. Which is amazing. So yeah, by the way, thank you everyone who has subscribed recently, helping us to hit the big 220k. It was the season target. We got March, April and May to go. How far can we push it? 225k is probably a little bit too far. 250k at the end of the season is just not possible, quite simply. Unless literally everyone who hasn't subscribed suddenly subscribe to the channel. Because, by the way, 40% of people watching the videos and streams are still not subscribed. Who knows why at this point? If you're watching that frequently, just subscribe, man. I mean, subscriptions, you know, they don't mean as much as they maybe did in the old days of YouTube. But it looks nice on the profile. And I would love 250k. I think 250k is probably the season goal for next season. Will be to try and hit 250k by the end of the season. Or maybe by the end of the World Cup fantasy or something like that. We'll see. We'll see. Or before the kickoff of the World Cup fantasy next year. 250k. I think that's reasonable. But there we go. Right, anyway. Let's, FPL Chris says, like and subscribe, guys. It's so worth it. It is so worth it. If you subscribe, you get to comment in the chat. And you never know, I might see your message. I might not. but you know, I might. So anyway, going through some of these others, I don't think there's much to look at. I mean, we can look at Arne Slot and Unai Emery if you still have your assistant manager on those guys. Maybe some of you guys still have your assistant manager on Moyes. It's not looking as good as some of the other players, and certainly if assistant manager transfers were free, then you would be looking at making a switch to someone higher up this table, wouldn't you? However, assistant manager transfers are not free. They're not free. And particularly with blank game week 29 coming up, double game week 32, double game week 33. I mean, depending on how the rest of this season goes, it could be a super chaotic end of the season. Transfers are going to be valuable. And even if you do have a free transfer now, you are going to take a hit between now and the end of the season. Even if you save your transfer this week, you're still probably going to take a hit between now and the end of the season. You're going to take a -4. So you have to value every transfer that you make at a -4, which makes it more difficult to justify spending a transfer on essentially a 1-week punt on an assistant manager. If it's for 2 weeks, you know, if you only activated your assistant manager last week, then it's a little bit more valuable spending a transfer on an assistant manager change for a 2-game week period. But for this game week alone, you have to be aware that each transfer has a value of 4 points. Can you gain 4 points worth of value? Arne Slot to Mikel Arteta gains you 3 points of value. If we look at the projections alone, so it's risky. Then we have Unai Emery. That gives you 3.7 points of expected value, which is a little nicer. I think, you know, weirdly, even though I actually do think Aston Villa will beat Chelsea, if we look at the projections here, it looks like it might actually be more worthwhile to do Emery to Arteta. But really, you know, Arteta's your safe guy. Van Nistelrooy, Glasner, McKenna. These are the kind of risky picks. You're hoping for a big score. It's boom or bust. How many booms are we going to give Van Nistelrooy, Glasner, McKenna? I'll probably give Van Nistelrooy 1 boom. Boom. I think we'll give Kieran McKenna 2 booms. Boom. Boom. And finally, Glasner, given we know Eza is available, I think we'll give Glasner 3 booms. Boom, boom, boom. And then that's as far as we'll go. 3 booms for Glasner. Because if I was to go for any table bonus assistant manager this week, I think it would be Glasner. I think that's the way I would go. But like I say, it's boom or bust. I need to add more brightness to my stream. Yeah, the problem is, one, it's a dark setup in general because the back wall is dark grey, and I didn't think about that when I was setting up this room when I painted that grey. Well, or should I say my wife painted it grey because I'm not very good at painting. But also, I have one of my lights has actually gone out. So there was actually a third light. I'm not gonna lie. There are 5 lights facing me to try and compensate for the for whatever's going on there. I mean, I would show you, but the room's kind of messy. But one of the lights is out currently, so that's why it looks a bit darker at the moment. But yeah, like what you have to remember, if you are taking a risk on a table bonus manager, you are expecting or hoping for the unexpected. Use a phone torch. What kind of B-Tech setup do you think we're running here? By the way, do you like my phone case? I absolutely love this phone case, by the way. Let's go full screen for this bad boy. Any Naruto fans in the chat? We got iridescent Kakashi Chidori phone case, and it's so sick. But yeah, we could go for the, you know, if I just hold this like this for the whole stream. Oh my word! I'm glowing. I'm glowing. But anyway, yeah. So going back to the assistant manager, if you are taking a risk, I think you just got to go in knowing the risk for the table bonus teams. Because let's be totally honest, if you go for McKenna versus Spurs and Spurs beat Ipswich 2-0 or something like that, you can't really sit there and say, I can't believe that's happened. I can't believe Spurs has beaten Ipswich 2-0. I mean, Ipswich are a relegation threatened team. Spurs are getting all of their players back. It is not unexpected if Spurs just walk Ipswich. It's totally possible. I'm actually going to stop with the light now because my arm will start to hurt if I hold that for too long. Similar situation. Van Nistelrooy. Leicester are awful. When was the last time they even won a match? I genuinely can't remember. Let's have a look. The last time Leicester won a match. Well, to be fair, they did beat Spurs. Okay, ignore me. Right, but if you look at it this way, so in the past 10 games, 1 win, 9 losses. If they lose again, you're hardly going to say, I can't believe Leicester lost to Brentford. How could that happen? It's happened 9 out of 10 of the last game weeks. It's totally expected. It's totally predictable for Leicester to lose again. So the other one is Glasner, who I think there is less of a risk because I do think that whilst Leicester and Ipswich are generally quite poor teams, Crystal Palace are a solid team. They're a decent team. May not have got the best result against Everton last week, and they have lost some matches recently too. Who else did they lose against recently? It was Brentford, wasn't it? So lost to Everton, beat West Ham, lost to Brentford. They did, of course, beat West Ham and Leicester, but you can maybe say with Man United, West Ham and Leicester, these are poor teams. Generally, Southampton, they beat a poor team again. So you can maybe say, okay, yeah, Crystal Palace won their games because they had easy fixtures, but they still won them. And I still think there's some positivity to be taken there because even in the easy fixtures, teams like Leicester aren't winning, Ipswich aren't really winning. And Crystal Palace are at least beating some of the easier opponents. Fulham are unfortunately not that. And, Fulham playing the best football they've played this season the last couple of weeks. I mean, I know the scoreline didn't necessarily reflect it, but Fulham battered Forest last week. They battered them. They're looking really good, Fulham. They're not conceding goals. And even if, Fulham, marginally beat Crystal Palace, if Fulham win 1-0, for example, that's 0 points for Glasner. If Fulham win 2-1, that's 1 point for Glasner. So even if Fulham only manage a marginal win, we're looking at 0 or 1 points for Glasner, which is bad, man. And that's 60% chance that's going to happen. Actually, is it 60% chance? Let's have a look at the actual odds before rolling my mouth. Okay, 48% chance. There's a 48% chance that is going to happen. That you're going to get 0 or 1 point from Glasner. It's about 50-50. You're either going to boom or bust. It's 50-50. Could genuinely work out. But if you factor in the 4 points for the transfer as well, I don't know, man. Spurs are like the hidden mist village in Naruto. They disappear in games. Mate, all my homies hate the hidden mist village. We're hidden leaf till we die. Can you even see that? Yeah, you can see that. We're hidden leaf till we die, boys. So, yeah, when you factor in the 4 points, that is the effective transfer cost of moving your manager. You really need Palace to win. A draw is not necessarily going to be enough. But who knows? Could be if Palace win and there is a 1 in 4 chance that happens, you're looking good. So do you want to take that risk? I'm in the camp that I want to play it safe. I'm just going to stick with slot. If you are feeling risky, Glasner would be the way I would go, because at least with them, I think you got a good chance. I think you got, it's not a big chance, but a good chance. Could be worth it. Could be worth it. So yeah, I think that's probably the in-depth conversation, I guess, that I wanted to have about the assistant managership. Of course, you know, as people hop in and out of the stream, I'm sure we'll talk about assistant manager in a little more detail, but not necessarily in more detail, but we'll recap. But that is the bulk of what I wanted to talk about with the assistant manager. For me, it's Arteta if you want to play super safe. You know, kind of like if you want to, if this is your vibe, let's open link in new tab. If this is your vibe, then you do you, man. Like, go for it. This is Arteta right there in an image. It's safe. It's boring. You ain't gonna have any troubles. You're not gonna have any troubles with this. No stomach problems. Nothing too spicy. Nothing too overwhelming or overpowering. You know what you're getting. It's safe. It's boring. But you get what you get. So that's Arteta. If you're going for Glasner, what kind of meal is Glasner? Maybe a madras? It's a nice madras. Actually, yeah, let's get this up. It's a Glasner. Oh, it's spicy. Oh, it's Glasner is spicy. It's quite You know what? This is gonna be a sensation for the taste buds. Oh my word. Lovely stuff. But also has the potential to go horribly, horribly wrong. You're throwing up from both ends. Your tongue is in pain. You wanted to maybe go out for a couple of beers after the curry, potentially. But no. You're on your way home because you have just had a horrible, horrible time. A horrible time. So it's risky. It is tasty. It is fun. It is interesting. But you could be in a lot of pain, and who knows? Who knows what area of your body will be in pain? Maybe all. You're sweating. Your tongue is on fire. You can't taste again for weeks. You go into the next game week, you're trying to taste a new flavour. But you can't taste anything. You can't decide on your next transfer, and you think, you know what? I have been burnt so badly by this spicy curry. The next week, I think I'll just go back to the tried and tested. I'll go back to the tried and tested. And I think that is Arteta versus Glasner. What's Slot in this analogy? I guess Slot also falls within the boring, like, planning for the future. You know what? Nah. It is saving money for a rainy day. That's what Slot is. What is the cheapest food? Cheapest food on Earth. On a very tight budget, staples like rice, beans, lentils. Oh, okay. So it's just plain rice. So here we go. We've now got our Arne Slot. Arne Slot holders. Just a bowl of plain rice for me. And a nice plain bowl of rice for me. I'm saving my transfers. I'm saving my my moves for future days. So we're going to have a nice plain bowl of rice. We're not going to spend money on anything fancy meal deals, fancy curries. We're just going to play it super safe. Have some rice. And maybe next week we'll splash out on something a bit interesting. What's up with the rice? Nothing. There's nothing up with the rice at all. It is safe. It's reliable. It is cheap. It is cost effective. It saves you for another week. Mike says that's what I'm having for my dinner. Bowl of plain rice. Welcome, another member of the slot holders. On a slot is a plain bowl of rice. Max in the chat says, what is going on? I can imagine that if you are just joining, then this is probably a little bit confusing. But we're making some analogies here. What assistant manager relates to which food? All right, we'll do one more and then we'll move on. Finally, we'll stop with the funny business because let's be honest, guys. There's no room for fun in FPL. It's a very, very serious game. So you don't want to see Donnies on your screen wearing Naruto headbands talking about comparing managers to various food items. You don't want to see that. You want to see boring stats. You want to see a lot of we got show team gang in the chat. They just want to see my team. They just want to screenshot my team and move on to the next stream, I'm sure. But we'll do one more. Let's do, looking through the managers. Let's do Van Nistelrooy. Let's do Van Nistelrooy. What would he be? What is what is that what's that weird here it is. Kasumatsu. Wow. You guys heard about this? You guys know about the Kasumatsu? Wow. The Kasumatsu is a very famous cheese. And I believe it's illegal in most countries. Because it is a cheese fermented by maggots. I'm not even joking. They make the cheese, they put the maggots in the cheese, and the maggots eat the cheese, digest the cheese, and like, excrete on it, make it super moldy and fermented and horrible stuff. It is vile. It's the maggot cheese. Kasumatsu. Illegal in most places. Absolutely vile. Absolutely disgusting. If you eat the maggot cheese, and you have a bit of a tummy problem the next day, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Have I had it? No. And I never will. It's illegal in the UK. You can't get it in the UK. It's illegal. So, if you eat the maggot cheese, that is the equivalent of going for Ruud van Nistelrooy. Your chances of having a nice honest meal, a nice honest meal with nothing dangerous there at all. This is the opposite. This is the opposite of that. If you eat the maggot cheese and you get burnt and you are ill and you are hospitalized because you ate the maggot cheese and chose Ruud van Nistelrooy as your assistant manager, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Nobody to blame but yourself. Hey, maybe you get away with it. Maybe you get away with it, and you get a draw from Van Nistelrooy, and you're only slightly ill. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Probably not. Van Nistelrooy is the maggot cheese. So, yeah, there we go. Let's wrap things up here. Just to summarise, Arteta is your boring meal deal. Ham sandwich, ready salted crisps, water. Fine, delicious, but safe. We've got the spicy madras of Oliver Glasner. Could be very, very tasty, but also could be terribly, terribly wrong. Plain rice, saving your money for a more delicious meal in the future. Just playing it safe this week. We'll have this meal, we'll move on. We're not too bothered about eating good today. We don't worry. We don't need to eat good, but we're happy. Plain rice. That is Arne Slot. And finally, the maggot cheese. Almost guaranteed to hospitalise you. Is illegal in most countries and should be illegal in all, but yet some people will still go for Van Nistelrooy as their assistant manager. That is your maggot cheese. So, there we have it. What are you guys going for? Let's should we start a poll? Let's do a poll because I want to hear what you guys are going for. Who is your Game Week 26 assistant manager? We'll go Slot / Emery, Rice. There's Arteta, boring meal deal. There is Glasner, spicy Madras. And we have Van Nistelrooy, maggot cheese. The fact that that is a thing that exists is quite frankly unbelievable. So, yeah, get your answers in the poll. Let's see what you guys are going for. Let's see what you guys are going for. Shaft says that deserves a like. I think that deserves a like. There's a bit of entertainment on a Friday afternoon. Why not, guys? Why not? What do you want to talk about next? Should we do team news? We'll do team news and then we'll do bench list. I think that is probably the order of business. So let's go on Fantasy Football Hub. And go on their team news. Where are we? Team news and predicted lineups. Beauty, beauty, beauty. Zoom out a little. So this is the predicted lineup for Arsenal. I don't agree with that. I actually don't agree with that. I think Mourinho plays up front and Trossard plays on the left, personally. And I also think there's a good chance that Calafiori comes in at left back and Ben White is available to play at right back as well. Rick Star says, did you see Let's Talk FPL stole your benching tier list? You know what? I'm getting sick and tired of everyone stealing my ideas. Honestly, it's getting to a point where I can't come up with an idea for FPL content without getting nicked. But look, it's the biggest of compliments, really, that Dan comes up with the great ideas. And everyone else probably does them better, to be fair. But still, it's a compliment. It is a compliment. It is a compliment. It's a compliment. The game's the game, man. Like, you gotta respect the hustle. You gotta respect the hustle. Anyway, Nicole says, hi Dan, 90 points in Game Week 25. Still got a red arrow. 1 free transfer. Big dilemma. Slots to Arteta. Enzo to Beto. Rogers to Wenz. Or Enzo to Dango. Or first two for a -4. I don't think I'd take a -4. Rogers to Dango is the move I went for. So that works. That works. Main man Dan says, personally would see it as a compliment. Rick says, imitation is the highest form of flattery. Yeah, man, like, for sure. For sure. The game's the game. You know. Like, when I started making content, I wasn't the first person to ever make a team selection video. There were people doing that before me. It's the natural progression of things. The best ideas survive and spread, and the worst ones die out. And it's a really big compliment to me that I've been able to have a few good ideas that are clearly people are enjoying enough that they are spreading. So yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I feel recognised. I feel complimented. Let's do this team news, guys. Right, so actually I do disagree largely with this Arsenal lineup. But anyway, going through the team news, Arteta says there was no real news. Ben White is ready to play. Martinelli and Saka could return for the Champions League tie with PSV. When is that? How soon are we talking there? Oh, we didn't even finish going for the Rob T graphics, did we? All right, we'll come back to that. Let's find my other calendar. Just to put it all into perspective. You don't think Timber will play? It's not that I don't think Timber will play. I think there is. I think you should be wary of Ben White playing. I think it's probably more likely that Timber starts again. But I think, you've got that probably 30, 40%, maybe more like 30% chance that White plays ahead of Timber. Or, Timber could go to the left, in fairness, as well. So Timber's still pretty good, I'd say. But there's a chance. But anyway, this is what I was looking for. So let's put that there. So the Champions League game would be before Game Week 28. That can't be right. When asked about whether injured wingers Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka could return for the Champions League tie of PSV, Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta added, "I don't know. That's a question for the doctor. They're progressing really well. Gabby is a bit ahead of Bukayo. We'll have to see how the boys are feeling and what we're prepared to do." So there's not actually any clear indication they'll be back for Game Week 27, 28, well, 28, 29. But, 29 is a possibility. 29 is a serious possibility for Saka to be back and Martinelli to be back. So that does put a degree of risk on Trossard and Nwaneri, I think. Which is unfortunate because I think Nwaneri's played really well. Perhaps deserves to keep his place. But got to put that info out there. Game Week 30, Saka and Martinelli, I would say, are back. But, there is a chance they could be back before that. There is a chance. We have to recognise it. Okay, on whether he's told Mikel Merino to play as a striker this weekend. No, not to him or to other players. I want the players, when they are on the pitch, taking the initiative. We trained the last few weeks with different players. Merino has been one of them with other players as well. So they've trialled different strikers, basically. Different players playing as strikers. He also said, "We have players training with us now regularly, learning our system and getting very close. And obviously we might have to use them. They look ready, which is a good thing." So maybe even youth players coming in for Arsenal. We'll see. But, I doubt it. I still think Merino probably plays striker. But anyway, Tomiyasu is ruled out. Ben White is not ruled out. Saka, Jesus, Havertz and Martinelli are out. I don't know why it says Ben White's ruled out. He is not. Right, Villa predicted lineup. Yeah. Pretty much agree with this one. I don't know if for sure if Consa will play, but yeah, I pretty much agree with this. On Esri Consa, Emery says he did the composition work with players. He's going to be in the squad. Ross Barkley not quite ready. Onana, Kamara are going to be out, and Disasi can't play against Chelsea because he is on loan from Chelsea. So Torres, Barkley, Onana, Kamara out. Consa and Bailey are doubtful, and Disasi is unavailable due to the loan agreement between Aston Villa and Chelsea. Bournemouth, much of the same. We're thinking much of the same this week. So Sinister and Scott were back in the squad last week. This, to be fair, this is the big one. Did we mention this earlier? I think we spoke about this earlier, but just to go over it again. Evan Nilsson is not far away from returning from a broken foot, albeit no precise date was given at the press conference. Dango Ouattara should be safe to start up front for a while yet, but the news could dissuade some would-be buyers of Ouattara to reconsider their plans. And I do agree with that. I think we are looking at Evan Nilsson back by Game Week 29. If he's not far away. Game Week 29 is... in terms of calendar week, so we're Game Week 26 now. Game Week 29 is 3 weeks away. 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks away. So, yeah, Evan Nilsson could be back for Game Week 29. Maybe. We'll see. Hopefully we get some indication. Evan Nilsson, we start seeing some bench appearances, so at least we know problems are coming before they're coming. But you have to remember, like, there's every chance that Dango just plays on the wing instead. But anyway, ruled out Araujo, Senesi, Smith, Evan Nilsson, and Unal, and James Hill is doubt. But I think he's come back to training this week, which is nice. For Brentford, the biggest news from Brentford is that Vandenberg is out. So Vandenberg has picked up a knee injury, got a minor knee injury. It's good news. It's a minor one. We're talking about weeks instead of months. How many weeks? It depends on how quick he is recovering. So, yeah, a few weeks out for Vandenberg. And I don't think there's too much else we really care about for Brentford, to be honest. Like, as long as we have Wissa and Burmo playing, I think most people are happy. Or I'm certainly happy. As for Brighton, for some reason, João Pedro is predicted in this lineup. Again, I don't know if I agree. I think Jorginho Rutter plays there because he's playing very well. And João Pedro is not playing very well. So my opinion is that João Pedro is benched, but I guess it's a little bit of a risk. If you have João Pedro, you probably look at that Southampton fixture and think, yeah, I obviously want my players against Southampton, like who, you know, of course. But I don't think there is any kind of guarantee there that João Pedro plays. So risky. No Dunk. Estupinian and March are back. Milner is not quite back yet by the looks of things. Kadioglu, Igor, and Steele still out. And yeah, Dunk is kind of doubtful. Chelsea. Why is I'm not sure how I feel about these predictions today. Who's running the predictions at Hub headquarters? Has anyone noticed something about this team? Shout out in the chat if you notice anything wrong with this Chelsea predicted lineup. But yeah, Nkunku up front. Will be Nkunku and Palmer kind of interchanging up front. Sancho on the left. Enzo Caicedo, Cucurella, Colwell, Chalobah, James, Jorgensen. I think we're mostly right. Guys, you're spot on in the chat. Joao Felix is not at the club. He's not at the club. So that's not going to happen. But Madueke is out. So who plays on the wing? Is Neto available? I mean, I should probably just scroll down and look at the team news. All right, Enzo Maresca gave the following update on team news and injuries. We don't have any updates on injuries. We don't have any additional injuries. Noni Madueke will be out until after the international break, probably. So, yeah, no change on Jackson then, I guess. The Blues have most of their players back at the beginning of April. Okay, that's good news for the beginning of April, but, you know, it doesn't really help us now. So, yeah, Neto will play instead of Joao Felix on the right. And I guess the rest of it I kind of agree with. Look on FOTMob. I guess you do get predictions from FOTMob, don't you? Super chat from Anna Rude says, slot to Glasner, Ahmad and Burmo -4. And what's Madras Curry? Google is your friend, my friend. Google is your friend. Wait. You're sending a super chat in rupees, right? Do you not have a Madras in India? Is a Madras an English curry? I need to look this up now. Ah, it is. Wait, no, it's not. Or is it? Oh, wait. Oh, no, okay. The dish was invented in Anglo-Indian cuisine. The name is unknown in Indian cuisine. Okay. So, yeah, this is a Madras. It's English. It's an English curry. What? What's going on? Yash in the chat says Madras is Indian, bro. Is it though? Because Anirudh is presumably from India. Never heard of it. And, you know, we've got we've got evidence here that it is it's an Anglo-Indian cuisine, which probably means it was made by Indian people whilst living in the UK, I guess. Madras is an old, yeah, it's named after, yeah, we can see here it's named after the city of Madras, now Chennai. But the curry itself, the food itself, is English. I can understand why that would be confusing for someone who doesn't live in England. Seeing an Indian food that was never made in India. Crazy. Yeah, probably made by Indian people in the UK then, right? Anyway. But yeah, that is what the Madras curry is that I am referring to. Someone in the chat says, I hope your neighbours don't eat this one. Anch. Hope your neighbours don't eat what's on your screen, mate. Yeah, I know, man. I know. It could happen again, couldn't it? The name of the curry is given by the British. In India, we have different names for it. Fair enough. Right, let's go back to business. So Neto on the right, Sancho on the left. Karan says, of course, it's your food, colonizer. I mean, give me some respect. I didn't do the colonizing myself. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure a couple of my ancestors did a fair bit of colonizing in their time. But, I mean, I largely had nothing to do with it. In fact, I'm quarter Nigerian. So, you know, I feel the plight of the colonized people, kind of. So, you know, my Nigerian ancestors, you know, they were colonized too. So, we're in it together against the colonizers, man. But, you know, that was a little while ago. I think we've got to get over it at some point. Well, I say that. We don't have to get over it at some point. It's very important to remember from a historical context so we don't make the same mistakes again. But what I really mean is probably shouldn't be angry at the current generation of people from that country. Even the purest of pure English people, I imagine, did very little colonizing in their lifetimes, is the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, let's have a look at the next team. So yeah, Fofana, Badiashile, Lavia, Gui, Jackson, Kellerman, Madueke all out. Mudryk is suspended for unknown reasons, apparently. We know. For Crystal Palace. So we're expecting Eze to be back in the starting 11 this week, which is good news. Other than that, largely the same as usual. Glasner said the following about the fitness of Eberechi Eze. It was a good week for him. He's getting better and better with his foot. I think he's ready to start against Fulham. Elsewhere within the group, the same squad as last week. All the players are fit. Everyone trained the whole week. It's good. On defending against Adama Traore, both Tariq Mitchell and Ben Chilwell have the quality to defend Adama Traore. Yeah, maybe one of them. It's not just him. Even with his pace and power, then we have to defend the box against Raul Jimenez and Osman Rose. So it's not just about him, it's a team effort. Yeah, fair point. Fair point, Ollie Glasner. Fair point. Chadi Riyad is out, Decore is out, Ward is out, and Wharton is not listed here, but he is not expected to be back in the starting 11 this week. Anna Dobson with a super chat says, Captain Salah, Ouattara or Watkins? Safe is Salah. If you want to take a risk, Ouattara. I don't think I'd go for Watkins, though. Even though I think he could do well against Chelsea, I think I'd have more confidence in a higher upside of the likes of both Salah and Ouattara. But Ouattara's your risky play, Salah's your safe play. So, yeah, it depends, Anna, how are you feeling? Are you feeling risky? Are you feeling safe? Go with your gut. JJ says, should I do Ahmad to Dango this week or play Wood this week and do Ahmad to Cliver next week when the assistant manager chip expires? Wait, what? Why would it be Dango this week but Cliver next week? Oh, money. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Dango. But you could just play Wood. Like, there's nothing wrong with just playing Wood this week. If you don't want to make a decision, I certainly wouldn't take a hit. If you've got Wood on your bench that can come in and cover for you, I wouldn't take a hit to move Ahmad to Dango. I'd just wait another week. But yeah, I guess it's up to you. I think both options are valid. I mean, I've been burnt too many times saying, yeah, I think I might sell Wood this week, or I think I might bench Wood this week. I've been burnt too many times by that one. I don't want that haunting me again. So maybe just play Wood. Oh, sorry, Anna Rude. Slot to Glasner and Matsu and Burmo. Sorry, I forgot to answer that, didn't I? Sorry, my friend. Amatsu and Burmo, as an individual transfer, I like. Slot to Glasner, not so keen on. For a -4, if you have no bench option, then, you know, if you have to do both, if it's both or neither, then I would do neither if you have a bench, if you have someone else you can play. If you've got Wood or Rodgers you can play instead of taking a -4, I would just do that. If you don't have really, maybe you've got a Gakpo and Ahmad, or you've got like a João Pedro, you know, someone who you're not convinced by, who would have to come in for an Ahmad. If you didn't sell Ahmad, then yeah, I would take the -4 and just do it. So yeah, it depends on your who you would play instead of Ahmad if you were to keep Ahmad on your bench. Hopefully that helps. But yeah, generally I like, as a double move, I like that. I like that. Right, so that's the assistant manager. No, sorry, the super chats answered for now. Let's crack on. Everton. Is there any changes here? Oh, right. So Alcaraz and Decore both fit at the moment. That gives us a decision to make. I'll need both of them. We're really short of numbers here. We've got 9 or 10 players out injured. Crazy. On Ilman Ndai, or Injured Man Ndai, as I like to call him. Illy has been taking injections, and we're quite positive that he's working hard to get back quickly. So we're hoping that we can get him back maybe before the time we thought. But they're not fit just now. I didn't know Ndai had they, them as the pronouns, but I mean, we'll roll with it. No, we say he's working hard to get fit, and then they're not fit right now. I mean, it makes grammatical sense, but I thought there might be some kind of potential pronoun business going on there. Apparently not. So, okay, that's interesting. If you're holding on to Ndai, there is a chance he comes back. I was actually thinking transferring him out, but I wasn't sure when. Probably still will transfer him out, to be honest, by game week 29. But maybe it gives us an option in game week 27, 28. Possibly. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Both Chimiti and Patterson are on grass, making progress. Blah, blah, blah. Fulham. So, yeah, swap Andreas and Smith Rowe, and I think we're closer to the answer, but not quite there. It's probably going to be Sander Berg, right? So, Nelson, Tete, Wilson out. Sasa Lukic is going to be ready to be in contention. Same threat out. Nothing super interesting there. Ipswich. Julian Ciso has some scans on his knee. There's no significant damage. We're not sure how long it's going to be. Davis, Morsey back in contention. Chaplin is a doubt though. And Walton, Ogbene, Burns still sidelined. Twenzebe is suspended. So that's the kind of lineup we're maybe looking at against Spurs, if you fancy Ipswich against Spurs. Dusty Kiaski says Rodgers and or Semenyo. No, don't sell Semenyo. Don't sell Semenyo. He's fine. Semenyo is fine. For free, you could maybe do Rodgers to Dango or Clivert. Or maybe lean towards Clivert at this point. But yeah, Rodgers to Clivert for free. Don't mind it. Don't mind it. Particularly if you don't want to free hit in game week 29. But Semenyo is a keep. Semenyo is a keep. Right. How many more teams? Leicester. So, Justin to be assessed. Woyo Koulibaly could be in line for a debut with that Justin injury. And Didi is back, of course. Wink's probably on the bench. Pereira and Fatawu are still out. Pereira could come back soon, though, apparently, I saw. For Liverpool, totally agree with this lineup for Liverpool, by the way. I think the reason we saw Luis Diaz on the bench in the second game in Game Week 25 is to, have him fit, have him available, have him ready to go for this game week, to give him that rest, with the idea that Gakpo was probably not going to be available. So, yeah, I think this is what we'll probably see pretty much spot on for the Liverpool lineup, with Gakpo potentially on the bench. But let's see what the quote is. So, Arne Slot on Cody Gakpo. Let's see. I hope. He hasn't trained with the team yet. Maybe he does a bit today. Don't know exactly. It will be a close call. Bradley was forced off at Villa Park, with the Liverpool boss confirming he will be unavailable for the City game. So that's, it's good for Trent's minutes, but do you want Trent minutes, really? Because Gomez is out as well. So that means Trent's playing 90, and I don't think that's what you want against City, really. You kind of rather get him on for 60 minutes, bank your clean sheet as quickly as possible, because you think City will probably score against Liverpool. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Kwanzaa could maybe come in at right back as well, if Trent is not going to play the full 90. But let's look at the Man City predicted lineup. And Haaland is currently not predicted to play. Stones is not going to play. Stones is out. What are these predictions, man? Pep Guardiola said the following on Erling Haaland being an unused substitute in Madrid. Erling has trained. I believe the images we have done are fine, but he had discomfort walking, for example, on stairs. We spoke yesterday and this morning, and he said he didn't feel good and didn't feel ready. Oh, that's in the pre-match conference at Madrid. So in the most recent press conference, Man City boss was vague. Joshua said no 100 Experts video. Yeah, man. The 100 Experts video went out like 2 days ago. But yeah. So, don't know yet. Tomorrow we will know. So, no update on Haaland. On John Stones, he's injured. Difficult one. In the next hours, we'll know if it's surgery or not. Whether Stones is set for a longer period of time on the sidelines. Yes, like Manuel Akanji. So, Stones and Akanji are out. So, Stones, Akanji, Bob's still out. Rodri, of course. And Haaland's a doubt. Man United. Are we bored of this yet? Can we go back to talking about transfers? It's more exciting, isn't it? Oh, actually, to be fair, 10 minutes we'll be doing bench lists, so that'll be fun. So, Manchester. Hoyland, Garnacho, Xerxes, Dorgu, Fernandez, Ugarte, Dallo, Mazraoui, Maguire, De Ligt. Who's out, who's in? Shaw's out, Mount's out, Evans, Martinez, Heaton, Bayindir, Mainu, and Diallo. Apparently, I think... Is it Mainu who is the closest to returning out of those guys? But yeah, a lot of players missing from Man United. No, Man United, low-key, have been dealt a pretty rough time with injuries this season. It's not been great. Let's look at Newcastle, and then we'll go to the chat when we get through these last few teams. We'll whiz through these. So, not really any change expected at Newcastle. Botman's unavailable, so we're probably looking at something like that. I do think there's a good chance that Pope comes in for Dubravka, though. Oh, Collier's the closest. I wasn't really counting Collier, but that's fair enough. Maybe I'm being disrespectful there. Nottingham Forest. Same old. Hudson-Odoi, back and available. Awani is available after the concussion protocol, but we'll have to wear a mask. But let's be honest, Wood is starting. Same old defence. Yeah, there you go. Southampton. Does anyone have any Southampton players? Probably not. We can skip that one. But actually, for the case of, maybe Brighton and the matchup here, Flynn Downs is going to be back in the squad, apparently. Stevens could recover. No Harwood Bellis, no Lallana, and all of the other guys who have been out for a while are still out. Spurs, Sontel, Kulusevski, Bergvall, and Madison up front. That's a pretty attacking team. Danso obviously doing a good job since he's come back. Vicario's back. He's doing well. He's back. Petri, I'll answer that question. Let's just get through the team news. Now, I will answer you. Don't worry, my friend. Because there's maybe a point to be made there, yeah. But yeah, still a lot of players missing. West Ham could see Ferguson in line. We know Paqueta is out. He's picked up an injury. But you look at this team and you think maybe that we could see an Arsenal win this week, couldn't we? Right. Wolves. Guedes up front or on the wing. Or, Strand Larsen's back available, so we could see him there. Agbadu is going to be out for some games. So that's good news if you are on the Bournemouth hype. Because Agbadu's been really good. Rodrigo Gomez is out, but Sam Johnson is back in. Strand Larsen back training. He started to train with the team and he's trying to come back to improve his condition physically, mentally and tactically. So Strand Larsen probably not back this week, to be fair, but soon. And there we go. That's your team news. And that's some maggot cheese. Right, let's go to the chat, answer a few questions, and then at 5:30, which is in 7 minutes' time, we will do the bench list. So, Petri says, I'll ask again. Word on the street is that there is bias built in the 100 Expert series. Thoughts, Dan? What do you mean by word on the street? I don't know what word on the street means, because where is this street? Can I visit this street? I'd like to visit. But no, I think that's probably to a degree true. You're going to have even if it's like a 5% bias, but the people who participate in the 100 Experts videos are largely FPL Mate viewers. So, there's going to be maybe a slight inclination towards doing things that I might be suggesting or what I might be doing, but it's only going to be slight. I mean, our experts are people who have got great ranks historically, good ranks before I ever started creating content. So these are people who have got their own brains, and they might not watch all of my videos. They might not watch any of my videos. They might watch other people's videos more. They might, do none of that stuff and just use their own mind, like I say. So yes, there is going to be a little bit of bias, I think, in the 100 Experts series, but there's no groupthink there necessarily. The experts that we have in our expert community are from all different parts of the world, different parts of the internet, different play styles. It's not one big groupthink, but FPL Mate channel bias may play a part, certainly, but we're looking at like a 5% bias, and I still think the 100 Experts videos is super useful. I mean, we've been making these videos for might be coming up to 4 years, maybe 3.5 years. We've been doing the 100 Experts videos, doing them for time, man. So, and they've always been super helpful. Not for me as well when I see the data and stuff. So. No, it's good stuff. It's good stuff, even if there is a little bit of bias in there. But hey, we've all got our biases, whether it's to our own favourite teams in the Premier League or, trying to sell ourselves agendas based on the players we do and don't have in our team. For example, I don't have Chris Wood, so I can run the agenda. Well, Chris Wood has terrible data. He's, playing against Newcastle, who have been a good defence this season, and the odds are saying that Wood is not very likely to score. And I'll sell myself these agendas and these biases to try and comfort myself for the fact that Chris Wood is about to score another goal to destroy my game week once over again. But yeah, we sell ourselves these biases, these agendas. That has happened. We're human. We're human. We're not robots. Although if you do want to take advice from robots, that is something that is becoming more trendy. Irfan with a super chat here says, Mbeumo and Wissa for Sarr and Gakpo, or Cunha for Gakpo and Emery to Glasner. Can't afford Cunha and Mbeumo this week. Could get Mbeumo next week. I don't think you need Cunha. I think it's a little luxury. It's a away game against Bournemouth, who are really top side. Next week they play Fulham, again another top side in recent weeks. Cunha is a good pick, but I'm not going to bend over backwards, taking hits, ripping up my team to get Cunha into my team. He's a nice Gakpo replacement if you want him. But that's about it. But I don't think you need both Mbeumo and Wissa. I think one is fine. I would prefer to have Mbeumo, I think. There's a nice kind of tactical matchup between Mbeumo on the right-hand side and the left-hand side of the Leicester defence as well. Leicester concede a lot of chances down their left flank. So Mbeumo is going to be able to capitalise on that, I hope. So, yeah, certainly Mbeumo would be my preference, but it's a case of trying to free up some budget to be able to do that. And I'm not sure how you're going to do that, Irfan. Don't think I'd take a hit, though, regardless. No matter what you're doing. So maybe just Cunha in for Gakpo if you're just looking for a straightforward one transfer kind of move. The assistant manager transfer is luxury. So if you're not in a luxury position, then I wouldn't be doing it. I mean, you can see in the poll, and we will close the poll now, I think, that half of people are just sticking with Slot and Emery. You know, up to 50% of people. That's a lot. Just playing it safe, not using their luxury transfers. Trying to save for future game week. So there you go. I'm going to end that poll, by the way, guys. So it seems to be that the heavy favourite is just to keep Slot or Emery, but Glasner is coming in second. So 49% sticking with Slot or Emery, 31% going for Glasner, 13% going for Arteta, and 4% somehow are going for Van Nistelrooy. I don't know who these people are, but they need their heads checking, maybe. Now, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's a super chat covered. Mebor says, hey Dan mate, Pedro and Ahmad to Wissa and Mitoma for a -4. If it needs a -4, yeah, but I think I would do the more simple Ahmad to a Bournemouth midfielder or Ethan Nwaneri at Arsenal and not take a hit. Unless you literally have nothing on your bench. You just bench João Pedro if possible, but if you've got nothing on your bench, I see it. I see it. I see it. Randy, thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel once more. Mucho appreciado. Van Nistelrooy has the highest predicted points, right? No, Arteta does. Arteta does. But a little boring, perhaps. A little boring on Arteta. So yeah, I do want to say, like, if you are asking my personal, because I know we spoke about the assistant manager stuff like an hour ago. A lot of people weren't here for that part of the discussion. So I'll just say this blanket statement, because if you're asking for my opinion, and remember this is literally just my opinion, I think there's a chance that this goes this way or that way. This is betting. Assistant manager is just betting on a result, and there are no guaranteed results in football. So we are just making predictions. But if it's me making the transfer, it's me making the decision. If I have Slot or Emery, I would personally not take a hit to change my assistant manager. If it's for a hit, I personally would not do it. And I think a lot of people are asking, should I take a hit for this manager or that manager? If you're asking me if I would do it, then the answer is no. Well, that's not to say that I'm right, because anything can happen in the wonderful world of football. But I do make it, bench lists o'clock. First of all, my friends are asking me to decide on a venue to go and to watch the game this evening. So let's shout out Aaron messaging me, who says, Daniel, anything on a venue for the game or chilling or wow? Will adjust my schedule if it tickles my balls. He's gone for. So there you go. Crude as always. Aaron, shout out. I'll tell him to give me 1 hour and I'll decide, but think I wanna watch it somewhere. Yeah. Okay. And if there's anyone else in the local area, Jay, are you watching right now? I think you are. I'm setting up the bench list, by the way, guys. Fancy watching the game, Jay? If you're watching, this evening. Actually, to be fair, only if you own one of Mbermo or Wissa. This is for Brentford boys only. Arsham says Mbermo captain, a crazy idea. Is it a crazy idea? Oh, no, I don't think it is a crazy idea. I think it's valid. I think it's valid, my friend. It's something that I have genuinely considered. But, I mean, when we say crazy, it's not like crazy. If you're going to do it, this would be the kind of week to do it. This would be the week to do it. Randy says, I forgot to renew members, mate. I've been a member for a few months, actually. I thought so. Arsham says, is Mbermo... Oh, wait, I already read that one. Am I going mad? Right, bench list coming up on screen. It's set up. It's ready to go. Boom. The bench list is back for another week. So, guys, what I would like you to do in the chat is shout, scream, let everyone know who you are thinking of benching this week. So I don't want to see Salah. I don't want to see who else is like a player you're definitely not going to bench. To be fair, there's so many bench dilemmas are so tough this week. I know some people are thinking about like Palmer, Wood, Isak, Cliver, Ouattara. There's a lot of players. People thinking about benching this week. And the defense, don't even get me started there. So we're going to try our best with the bench list today. But this is a tough week. It is a tough week. So let's go Wood, Palmer. Watkins, I'm going to put above both. We'll go Alexander-A above like Hall. I'm going to put Robinson above Hall though. Or do I put Robinson above Trent? Nah, probably not. But I'm going to put Castagna below. I'm going to put Daniel Munoz here. Mikalenko can go here. We've got Rodgers. I would probably put Rodgers here. Would put Sarr below him. Maybe Sarr could even go potentially lower than that, to be fair. Let's put Sarr a little bit lower. Maybe here? Am I being harsh? Okay. Murphy, similar situation. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe we'll bump these guys up a little. Let's put them here. Gabriel, you play. Ahead of Rodgers even. Gakpo, you bench. Yeah, I think Gakpo, you bench. Let's find a icon as well for that. Warning icon. Oh, warning emoji. Oh shit, what have I done? Alright, Gakpo can go there. Who else have we got? Joao Pedro. Joao Pedro's so risky. I'd probably stick him here. If you really don't have anyone else, then yeah, maybe you could go for him, but he's risky. Really risky. Dango goes above all of these players. Every single one of them. Who else? Side list. This is a bench list. This is a bench list. This is about benching players. You can't bench managers because you can only have one. We've got to stay true. Nwaneri, I'm gonna. No, you're gonna go below Watkins. I'm gonna put him here. I'm gonna put Nwaneri here. Mateta is going to go probably below a lot of these guys. I'm going to put Mateta here. Semenyo is going to go here. Eza is going to go reasonably low. I'm going to go here. Wissa is, for me, above Dango. Alanga's does he even need to go in here, really? Goalkeepers, you want Flecken and Verbruggen. So, I think surely Verbruggen goes above. Yeah. Yeah. Because we've got to put so many players on the bench list today. I'm not going to put any differentials on here. We can talk about the differentials, but I'm not going to put them on the list. Just because there's not going to be enough room. If I put too many players on, the text gets too small. So I know, like, some people, got like Beto, Tarkovsky, Szoboszlai. None of these players need to go here. Sadly, they're just too differential. I'll put Einar on, but I'm not going to put like all of the Nottingham Forest defenders on there. You guys are going to have to do some inference, I guess. Paredes says sell and die / Gakpo for Wissa or starting Castagna. I would probably sell, but I would maybe go for Cunha instead of Wissa because Cunha's nicer a little bit longer term. Wesley, I don't think Trent is going to play under 60 minutes because there's no Bradley and there's no Gomez. They're both out. Are we really thinking about benching Isak, by the way? Pickford can go here. Isak. All right. I think Isak goes here. Steven says, Dan, where would you put watching YouTube adverts on the bench list? Right at the top, because if you watch the ads on the videos, that's how I earn a living. I can't make videos to the extent I can't spend the time I spend on these videos if I don't get paid enough to survive, sadly. So yeah, I put them at the top of the list because without the ads, there is less FPL Mate, I suppose. Paredes says, thoughts on keeping Gakpo to enjoy Gameweek 28, then sell. I've got no problem at all with keeping Gakpo. People who want to keep Gakpo, I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine. Right, Marmoush. We'll put Marmoush in just because so many people have bought him in this week. So he isn't really a differential anymore. He is not going to go in the top area for me, but he is going to go reasonably high. Reasonably. I mean, is that harsh? That's scored a hat trick. Liverpool good side. Now we're gonna put him there. We're gonna take this fixture into consideration here. Mark says Emery to Arteta for a hit. I don't think I would do it personally. No. Action says Saar replacement. Dead ending into Game Week 29. A Bournemouth midfielder or Nwaneri. Those are your choices. We'll put in Timber because a lot of people do still have him. He is going to go a little lower because he has got new rotation risk. So for that reason, he's going to go below Trent and Robertson. But I think you'd still maybe take a punt ahead of Hall and hope. Because it's likely that Timber starts the game at least and hopefully makes it to 60 minutes. Is it worth bringing in Nwaneri? Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, he's one of my favourite pickups for this week. What other players do a lot of people have? Cunha. Cunha's another popular pick. Again, Cunha's not going to go above Isak, Wissa, Dango, Semenyo, Watkins, Moneri, Marmoush. Wood. Is he better than Palmer? Is Wood better than Palmer, even? Oh, I'm going to regret this. And then Cunha falls in after that, right? I think that looks right to me. I think that looks right. Hang on. I can't believe I'm texting on stream, by the way, guys. So unprofessional. Texting on the job. You guys never sent a text whilst working? Of course you have. Is Marmouche a good pick for Ndiaye replacement? Yeah, you could do. You could do. Longstaff to Nwaneri from -4. Why on earth do you have Longstaff, Charlie? Why do you have Longstaff in your team? What? How did that happen? There's got to be a story there, surely. Would I do it from -4 though? Only if you have no other options to play this week, I guess. Dan, would you do slot to Arteta for free? I'm so confused. I mean, I had the option to do slot to Arteta for free and I chose not to. So I guess, would I do it? The answer is no. But I don't, there's no problem with doing it. You could do, but I didn't do it. Thomas says, I heard Evan Nilsson will come back soon. Is it worth to bring in Dango then? Yeah, because Dango will still play. He'll just play on the wing instead. So I still think, and you know, there's upside in the next 2 game weeks. So I still think Dango is worth going for if you wanted to. But, you know, yeah, I agree that the appeal has lessened since the rumours of Evan Nilsson. But yeah, Evan Nilsson could be back against Spurs, could be back against Brentford in game week 29, but we imagine that the form that Dango Ouattara has been in, he's probably going to be good. Probably going to be good. As a punt, would you captain Cliver or Wissa? I would if I had to choose between those two. I think I'd go Wissa, you know. It's risky, though. It's risky. I think most people would probably say they prefer Clivert, though. I don't know. I think I maybe, if I was forced to go differential this week, I would probably go for Mbermo, really. Or Mbermo or Isak is probably where I would go. Aaron says, mate, just got here after work. What are the FPL headlines? The headlines are... Gakpo is touch and go for this weekend. Ben White could be back. Ahmad is obviously out for the season. Madueke is going to be out for a few weeks as well. Evan Nilsson could be back within the next couple of weeks, which would move Ouattara onto the wing. And I can't think of anything else super important. Chat, if there was any other important injury news we heard today that I've forgotten about in this instant, let me know. Let me know. You should do a segment called the Deadline Headlines. I mean, to be fair, we went through all of the team news about half an hour ago. We went through everything. But yeah, sadly, there's so much to talk about, and we can't fit it all in at the end, so we spread it out. Sid Fisher says, only this game week, Saliba or Timber, and Wissa or Welbeck. I play Wissa over Welbeck, and I play Saliba over Timber. Dominic says, which 3 out of Trent, Digne, Munoz, Mikalenko, Robinson? Trent, Robinson, and Munoz. So bench, Digne, and Mikalenko, in my opinion. Should we do a captain poll, guys? Because a lot of you guys are asking captains now. Who is your game week 26 captain? Salah. Who are even the options? Salah, Isak. And I know some people will be like, hey, but actually, I'm not captaining any of the players on the list. I'm actually captaining Joao Pedro this week. I think he'll score a goal. Fair enough. But for the purpose of this poll, we're going to keep things simple. So we're going to do Salah, Isak, Cliver / Dango. We'll put them together. And we'll put Mbermo and Wissa together as well. If you're captaining anyone else this week, I'm really, really sorry, but we can't. You know, YouTube only lets me put 4 players in the poll, so we gotta limit it. Bob says that's Bruno talking like Kermit. Another away days fan, I see. Me too. Right, let's get the captain poll running. I'm sorry if your player's not on there, but alas. Hall or Konate? I would play Hall over Konate, I think. I'll play Hall over Konate. Tristan says, let's not sleep on Palmer. Disassi can't play, no centre-back. Yeah, man, the thing is, like, Palmer's just been in poor form recently, so it's tricky, isn't it, to really recommend him at this point. Hi, mate, where does Howson go on the list? Where's Kirkes? He's not on there, so we'll just put Kirkes and Howson together. Now we really are running out of space here. We really are running out of space. Petri says, in case you were seriously wondering, word on the street equals me walking on the street, uttering a word by myself. Maybe a bunch of these experts looking at your videos and making their decisions after it. Yeah, there is going to be some of that, Petri. I don't think you're completely insane. But probably not as much as you think. FPL Oliver says, hey Dan, just one quick question. Marmoush or Cunha from Gameweek 29 onwards? Thanks. How long onwards are we talking here? If we're talking like onwards as in for the like 29 to 33, then Marmoush. If we're talking, because I think Man City have a much higher chance of a double game week in that period than Wolves do. But if you're talking like 29, 30, and then wildcard in 31 or something like that, then maybe you go for Cunha. Palmer's not been in poor form. The rest of the team has. Yeah, fair. Fair. Main man Dan says, I left for 30 minutes. What did I just walk back to? This is the type of contact that's a scruffle. What did I do? Did I do something weird? Why is Nordneri a good choice? Because he is playing for Arsenal. Because we have so many injuries right now. And like, he looks so good, man. Like, we knew that this guy was talented. We knew he was talented for a while. Like, is he still like the youngest? Is he like the youngest ever player for Arsenal in the Premier League? Certainly one of in the Premier League, maybe the. Because he made his debut like at 15, right? So you know we knew he was talented, but yeah, he's good. He's good. And he like didn't he hit the post and you know had another really good chance to score. Got an assist. This was against Leicester last week. 3 bonus points, which just showed how good of a game he had. 1 assist, and the team got a clean sheet, and he was the guy with 3 bonus points. It says everything about his performance. But he looked brilliant. He was the best player on the pitch by some margin. FPL Victoria's Secret says 1 free transfer. Do Sarr to Dango or roll and start Rodgers? I would do it. I would do the free transfer. Best managers options, Arteta and Glasner would be the only 2 that I think I could see myself going for in another universe. I could see myself going for Arteta or Glasner. But the best choice made just to be to stick with what you've got. Hi Dan, quick one. Is Mittermeier worth a punt? Yeah, I mean it's risky. But he's been in really good form. He's looking good at the moment. So you could take a punt. For sure, I don't want to put you off that one. But if you're looking long-term planning, looking at future fixtures, etc., then I think I would maybe lean towards the likes of Bournemouth and Arsenal. Did I do a team news video this week? There wasn't time, sadly. We only got the last of the team news like 2 hours ago. Sorry, but Marmoush or Cunha till the game week 35 won a wild card. Then it depends when you're free hitting. But I still think I'm saying Marmoush. I think. Marmoush, by the way, on set pieces is super handy. Super handy. I don't trust any of the table bonus teams. Me either, man. Me either. Is Cunha worth a hit? No. Nah, not for me. I wouldn't take a hit for Cunha. What about Gordon? Oh yeah, Gordon's an interesting player. A lot of people still have Gordon in their squads, don't they? Let's throw him in somewhere. Do we put him below Mateta, I think? Below Rodgers. Maybe above Eza. Let's go here. Is Son fit? I believe so. I believe so. Rodgers to Noneri to facilitate Haaland down the road? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Why not? Timber's already on the list. Gordon to Mbermo for a hit. If you're not free hitting in Game Week 29, if you're not free hitting, then yeah, I think I would consider doing that for a hit, yeah. Is Dango worth a hit? If you have like a Rodgers or someone who you can play instead, then no. Probably not. Is it worth selling Rodgers for Dango but benching Wood? It's risky, so do so at your own risk. I wouldn't take a hit for that move, for example. Kepa on the goalkeeper list? No problemo. Let's go here. Yeah, that looks right to me. Can you discuss making an assistant manager transfer for free but maybe having to take it later? We already did that earlier, to be fair. But yeah, that is my general opinion. The reason I'm not making an assistant manager transfer is because I know that the value of a transfer right now is 4 points because of the chaos later on in the season with doubles and blanks. You are going to be taking hits later on in the season, and since you can roll a transfer seemingly infinitely into the future, then it really does mean every transfer you use right now has a value of 4 points. You have to make back you have to factor that in before making every transfer. Is this going to be, am I going to make up my 4 points if I make this transfer? Now, when a player transfer, that's a little bit easier because, you know, we're looking longer term. We know for example, a Ouattara versus Ahmad. Ouattara is going to, he doesn't even need to get any returns and he pays back your -4 in 2 weeks. So that's very simple. That's a very straightforward example. We could also say like Mbermo, we think he's going to outscore Gordon by more than 4 points over the next 3-4 game weeks. There's no problem with saying that. So that might be worth a -4, like a transfer, ergo the value of a -4. But with a manager, if you only have 1 week left of your assistant manager, that means your new manager has to outscore your old manager by more than 4 points to make it worthwhile. So when you start to factor that in and looking at the odds, on projections, there is no manager who is projected to score 4 more points than a Slot or Emery. There is no manager that with 4 or more projected points, but it's a risk. If you don't like the risk, then don't do it. If you do want to risk and you think, okay, I'm going to take the chance. I know the odds are slightly against me, but I'm going to take a chance on Glasner to get a result, Arteta to get a better result than Liverpool. I think Arsenal are going to win. I think Liverpool are going to lose. Then, you can take that risk. You can take that punt. But the value of assistant manager transfer, even if you're doing it for free, the value is still 4 because you will take a hit before the end of the season. I just know it. Where is Cliver on the list? Are we really thinking about benching Cliver? If so, fair enough. But I'm going to throw him on here. I'm going to drop him slightly below Dango. I didn't know people were thinking about him. Henderson on the goalkeeper list here. So for Henderson, I'm going to drop him into the bottom place here, I think. Or am I? Maybe here. But the sells factor, the sells saves factor, maybe puts him above Henderson. Why is Pickford so high and Mikalenko so low? Pickford's bang in the middle. If you wanted to include and Mikalenko has no attacking threat, so when you compare him to other defenders, he will naturally go lower. But if you had like Raya would go above all of these guys. Who else? He's a goalkeeper with a good fixture. I mean, even if I just put rare there, it drops Pickford down. Dina on the bench list. Okay, is Dina... Is he a little bit too differential? I don't know. I don't know, man. Beto, bench or sell? I wouldn't sell Beto. He's fine to play, unless you've got a better thing. A better player to play. So you think there's a decent chance Timber gets benched for Ben White? I don't think there's a decent chance, but I think there is a noteworthy chance. You know, there is a chance. You know, it's not like it's not 0%. You know, we're looking at probably 20% chance. It's going down every time we talk about it. There's probably like a 20% chance of White starting this week. And even that doesn't necessarily mean Timber is going to be benched because he could go to left back. So I think it's worth noting that it is a possibility, but I don't think it's likely that Timber is benched. I don't think it's likely Timber's benched. Crispy says, love the podcast, by the way. Lovely work. Thank you so much, Crispy. Really appreciate that, my friend. Right, let's see what the captain poll is saying. So we've got 67% on a Salah, 15% on Mbermo/Wissa. I imagine that's mostly Mbermo. 11% on Cliver/Dango. And Isak, by the way, Isak is on 7% captaincy rate on the poll currently. Isak is actually, for the analytics guys, the data guys, Isak is actually the favoured captain above Salah this game week for the analytics and data guys, or at least competing with Salah. And maybe, you know, the EV differential, if we want to use some nerdy terms that probably 1% of you guys know what it means. But yeah, the data guys really like Isak for captain this week, really like him. Which is why I'm maybe surprised to see him only at 8% on the captain poll. But keep your votes coming in. Lewis says, where would Dubravka be on the keeper list? I mean, to be honest, I think there's a significant chance that the decision may be made for you, considering that Pope is in line for a start soon. Let's put Dubravka in though regardless, because, you know, worst case scenario, you get your bench goalkeeper in, but he is rotation risk this week, Dubravka. Still, I would play him above Sells. I'd play him probably, I guess, here. Should I play Marmoush or Wissa for João Pedro? Yeah, both of those guys are above João Pedro on the bench list. What's the status on Gakpo? Yeah, touch and go whether he's going to be available for this weekend, which probably means bench is the best scenario. So I wouldn't expect Gakpo to be back for this weekend. But, you know, chance of next game. Although, to be fair, next game week is a midweek game week, isn't it? So even if Gakpo is out, even if he's back on the bench in game week 26, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to start in 27. And it could be 28. We might be looking at 28 for Gakpo to be starting. But that's the fixture you want him for. That's the Southampton game. That's the money game, right? That is your money game. Would you do Haaland to Isak? No, I don't think I would. Dylan says, chance of Wissa and Burma rest both to get... I can't see Wissa or Burma getting a rest. They're not in any cup competition right now. They are just in the Premier League, of which we only have how many game weeks left? 12? 13? 13. So no, I don't think they get a rest. No, season's nearly done. They just unless there's nothing to play for by the final few games, they just play and play. Unless they get injured, of course. Wissa versus Cunha. I prefer Wissa for this week. I prefer Cunha for the longer term. Enzo to Nwaneri or slot to Arteta? I prefer Enzo to Nwaneri, I think. Wissa captain, you could do. I don't hate it. I do not hate it. Let's just make sure my team is finalised, because we're getting towards the deadline now, aren't we? You know, I've been streaming for 2 hours. Crazy. Crazy. Any early team news? Let's have a look. We're looking for Leicester and Brentford, really. I don't think we're going to have anything, no. Sometimes we get a bit of Brentford early team news, to be fair. Pot Noodles says, stop airing me, mug. I said, Pot Noodles, first of all, that is arguably a red card offence. I'm going to give you a yellow. Because that is definitely a cautionable offence. So we're going to give you a yellow card. But you said, stop airing me, you mug. I said, why Pickford high but Mikolenko low? Now, if you were paying attention, I actually spent probably a minute, 2 minutes answering your question. So not only have you called me a mug, but you've actually made yourself look like a bit of a mug yourself. So, and you're yellow carded now. So, on thin ice, my friend, on thin ice. And I'm not going to repeat myself either because you're rude. If you ask politely, I might have repeated myself. Barnsley says, VAR check straight red. Jax is double yellow. Or do you think so? Do you think VAR red? That's a red card offence. 1 game suspension? Surely only a 1 game suspension. All right. Well, actually, you know what? If he apologises, we'll then we'll keep up that. That's abuse of power, isn't it? If he apologises, we won't send him off. Samir says, feels like we haven't had early team news in weeks. You know what, Samir? It feels like we haven't had early team news in this season. You know, we've had barely any this entire season. I think the Premier League teams have probably really cracked down on team leaks, so it's not really something we've seen as much this season. Pot Noodle says, is a red a temporary chat ban? Yeah, a 1 game ban is a 24-hour ban. You can get a permanent ban as well, a lifetime suspension. But you know, a double yellow, or you know, it's just a regular red card would be a 24-hour suspension from the chat, unfortunately. So yeah, but you know, you can appeal, but you won't be able to appeal because you'd be muted, so you won't even be able to say anything to appeal. Nelson says, too early for Marmoush, or could it pay off? I think you could maybe do it now. I don't think you have to do it now, but like if you've got an open position in the forward area, you know, you really need to make a forward transfer right now, and you just feel like going early on someone, whether that's Cunha, because I think it's still slightly early for Cunha. It's less so than with Marmoush. But I think it's totally okay to go early on one of them. They're both fine players. They're going to have opportunities regardless. You know, no matter what the fixture is. Pot Noodles says, sorry, mate, won't happen again. Pot Noodles, you are on a yellow and no red for you, my friend. Don't worry. Don't worry. Will we all make mistakes? We all make mistakes. It happens. Right. Let's put one more player on the bench list. Is there a player who you guys really, really want to see on the bench list who isn't on there already? And if a few of you say the same name, we'll put them on, because we are running out of room. But I think we've got room for one more. So shout it out in the chat. In the meantime, FPL Mandam says, please read Frank as assistant manager and who to captain. I would personally not be going for Thomas Frank as my assistant manager. Who to captain? Salah to be safe. If you want to take a risk, I would probably go Isak or Mbermo. So who's missing? Raul, Enzo, and Elanga. 3 votes for Raul. 2 votes for Enzo there, I see. Couple for Elanga. Yeah, Raul's won this one, hasn't he? Raul Jimenez has got to go on here, I think. Where will we go? Oh, a few people did say Elanga as well, though. Let's see if there's any room. Raul Jimenez is going to go below a lot of these guys. Go below Wood, below Cunha, below Gabriel, but maybe above Mateta, like low-key. Below Rodgers? Can't go lower than Rodgers. Can't go lower than Rodgers. Should he go above Rodgers? You know, penalty taker. He's going above Rodgers. And can we... If I put in Elanga, is the text going to shrink again? It is. And it's becoming borderline illegible. Unreadable. But like Elanga's going to go like really, really low anyway. So I think we just leave it. Then everyone can read what we've got. Looks good. Looks good. Utkarsh says, bench Rodgers, take a hit for Wissa, already having Bournemouth, or just play Rodgers. I'll just play Rodgers rather than taking a hit. That's what I would do. Kabalash says, is it just me or has the season been kind of boring? Just Captain Salah every single game week when the first 5 weeks the teams were so different? Yeah, for sure. It's been a weird season, man. But like every season is a weird season in its own unique way, to the point where there's no such thing as a normal season. Every season is, if every season is strange, then there is no strange seasons. Football's a strange sport. I think it would probably be the best way of describing it, I suppose. Emery to Frank. No, I don't think I'd do that personally. Why Aina benched? Because I think there's just a lot of better options this week for defenders. Newcastle away is not the greatest of fixtures. Well, I expect Newcastle to score. Timber is on there already. He's listed as J Timber though. Where's Elanga down? Okay, right. If I was to put Elanga on this tier list, which I'm not going to do because I don't want the text to become too small, I would put him below Gordon, below Eza, below Joao Pedro, like in the Sam Murphy area. Nelson says, do you watch AFTV? Do you think Robbie is deluded? I don't watch AFTV. I did watch AFTV when it was, I think, like only 10,000 subscribers, or maybe even less. I watched them when they were a super small channel because just I was an Arsenal fan and I wanted to watch Arsenal content creators, but it's a bit sensationalized these days. So I don't really watch it, but I don't really have a problem with it. I think, you know, there's some clips I've seen. I think, you know, there's still some good content there, but it's not something I really watch. Pot Noodles says, why is Mikalenko so low? Great question, Pot Noodles. That's the second yellow, my friend, and a red, therefore. We tried. We're going to be kind and only give you a 30-minute timeout, though. We're going to be kind. So you can still return before team news. He keeps going, doesn't he? Piping up to the ref. Can't be done. Can't be done. He asked a question. I answered it. Then called me a mug. And then asked the question again. Apologises, then asked the same question again. Oh, he's off. He's off, boys. He's off. I'm sorry, Pot Noodle. I'm sorry, my friend. Worth a go, eh? Tactical foul. It was a tactical foul. It's not his fault. Show Team Gang is here. Let's go, Show Team Gang. I've been waiting for you guys. Carter said I literally added him with the answer. I know. I saw you do it. I saw you do it. I saw you answer him. You even gave him. You kindly gave him the recap. Kevin Sharder captain? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. You're going a bit crazy. We're not banning Pot Noodle for lifetime. No, we're not. Just a little temporary. Beret says, haha, answer me please, mate. I'll take a yellow too. Bench one from Gabriel, Timber, Kirkes or Trent. You know what, Beret? You didn't think that was a yellow card worthy offence, but it actually is. And do you know why, Beret? You know why that is a yellow card offence? It's because every player that you just listed is on the bench list and the answer is literally already on screen for you. I'm going to put that down to maybe you've not seen the bench list before, and that's totally fine. I'm happy to have new viewers, don't get me wrong. But ironically, my friend, that is actually a yellow card offence. Not reading the bench list and asking questions that are already answered on the bench list. That's a yellow card offence, I think. And I'm not even going to answer your question, but I don't need to, because this, if you look on the screen, it is answered for you. Is asking for yellows a double yellow? I think maybe asking for yellows is a straight red, yeah. Possibly. All right, we'll see. We'll see going forward. We'll see going forward. Luis Diaz on the bench list. I mean, if I had to put Luis Diaz on here, he'd probably go around the Gordon Eze kind of area, maybe. Maybe drop him just below Joao Pedro. It wouldn't be super high. Wouldn't be super high. Can he collect 5 yellows to be banned? I mean, I can't. I'm not going to be keeping track of how many yellow cards people are getting. Can we get a captaincy ranking? I guess we have a captaincy ranking already via the poll that's running, but Salah seems to be number 1, followed by Mbeumo, or a Brentford guy, essentially. And then Cliver, and then Ordango, and then Isak. But I actually think Isak's been done a bit dirty there. I think Isak should... For me, the ranking is Salah, Mbeumo, Isak. So, that would be my opinion. But, hey. Hey. FPL Mandem says, Kevin Schade captain, we will see who gets the last laugh. See, why did you ask me, FPL Mandem? Did you want to know my opinion, or did you just want, you know, verification, confirmation bias from me? Because you're not getting it on the Schade captaincy. You're not getting that from me. Mark says, I have been on Mbeumo all week, but reconsidering, he will either make or break my weekend. It's tough, isn't it? Because it's the first game as well. Can you show the clean sheet odds? You know what? That's a great point. We do need to have a look at the goal scorer odds as well, because we were meant to do that earlier, but we never did. So let's... Where are we? Right. These are the clean sheet odds. So Arsenal 52%. They are the best. Whilst you guys read that at your own leisure, I will read the super chat from Paredes. So why are you suggesting Cunha over Wissa? 2 hard games. Wissa easier for a quick return. Probably going to wildcard 30, 35. May toss up for me. Yeah, well, I think this is the thing. Wissa is your short... When I say Wissa short term, it's like the next 2 game weeks. Wissa's probably... Maybe 3 game weeks. Wissa has the better fixtures. But when you look at a 4 game week period, a 5 game week period, Cunha has the better run. So it's up to you. Do you want that quick fix of Wissa, or do you want someone who is, you know you're not going to have to transfer them back out between now and your wild card, pretty much, which is really a really useful situation to be in. Saves you transfers down the line, which are going to be super valuable. So that's why it is a toss-up between those two. If I was making the transfer now between Cunha and Wissa, it would be very, very close between the 2 players. Very, very, very close. So I think you have to go with your gut. I think most people would probably say Cunha over Wissa, though. I think most people would say Cunha. But these are not transfers I'd be willing to take a hit for. Sean says, who do I lose? Wood, Hall, or Emery, and who for? You don't lose any of those players. I think you keep them all. There you go. Could do Emery to Glasner, but I've got no problem with Wood. I've got no problem with Hall. No problem, no problem, no problem at all. See, a bit Dr. Seuss kind of riff in there. Right, so anyway, there are your clean sheet odds. Well, I wanted to have a look at the player goal projection. So if Joao Pedro starts, and this is based on if the player starts, which is a very big if when it comes to Joao Pedro, it is misleading to see him on this list. Let's put it that way. But after him, Salah 0.62 projected goals, Isak 0.61, Haaland 0.56, Wissa 5.2, Son 5.1, and Mbeumo 5. Then you've got like Raul, Trossard, Watkins, Cliver, Palmer, all in this kind of area. Chris Wood is down at 0.41 projected goals, which is not really far ahead of like a Nwaneri, who is a midfielder, gets extra points. We've got Semenyo and Dango not that far behind, but I get extra points as well. Mateta's pretty low, 0.37, which is not great for a forward. Cunha is all the way down at 0.29. So this is why I'm not super keen on like taking hits for someone like Cunha this week. Preda says, according to Emma, JP starts. Emma, who does the predictions. She doesn't do leaks. She gathers opinions of fans, doesn't she? So I don't think that's a leak. That is just an opinion. In terms of goal points, so obviously when we account for like midfielders getting more points, then we see Salah goes to the top. And Son, interestingly, in second. Then Joao Pedro, then Mbeumo, then Isak. So I think, you know, Son, don't trust Spurs. Joao Pedro, we don't trust the minutes. So that really does leave us, if we're looking for FPL goal points projected, Salah, Mbeumo and Isak are the top 3 captain options. With Trossard, interestingly, they're in behind. And so is Kluivert, to be fair. Not even too far behind, really. So they're all options. Even Palmer's there, you know. Sean Dunn says, my front 2 are Wood, Isak. Do I keep both? Only one sub. Yeah, I've got no problem with keeping Wood and Isak. They've both been like the 2 most informed strikers this season. Outside of maybe Haaland. I mean, they've been doing just as well as Haaland, really. Since like the early start of the season. There you go. Should I start Rodgers or Elanga? I'd start Rodgers. Rodgers to Dango for -4. I don't think so. I think I'd just play Rodgers. Van Nistelrooy manager thoughts. There we go. That's my thoughts on Van Nistelrooy manager. Anyone who has been in the stream since the beginning, you will know exactly what this is and what this means. But this is what I think of Van Nistelrooy as a manager. If you are picking Van Nistelrooy as your assistant manager for this week, it is like eating... What is it called again? Kasu matsu? Kasu matsu cheese. It is a cheese, illegal in most countries, that is fermented by maggots eating the cheese, digesting it, and excreting it back into the cheese to create a moldy, maggoty... Oh, and then it's cooked, so the dead maggots are still in it, by the way. Did I even mention that? It's then cooked, the dead maggots stay in it. It is considered a delicacy in some places, but it has also got a very, very high chance, like 90% chance of hospitalizing you, hence it being illegal. So if you are going for Van Nistelrooy as your assistant manager, you want to try a delicacy, maybe it will be nice, but you're probably going to get hospitalized from it. So generally, most people would say it's probably a bad idea to eat the cheese. It's probably a bad idea to go for Van Nistelrooy as your assistant manager. But hey, maybe you get to try a bit of a local delicacy. So that is my opinion on Van Nistelrooy as an assistant manager. That is the analogy. Everyone watching this while eating dinner has suddenly lost their appetite. Why? It's a delicacy, man. What are you trying to say about the Italians? They don't know their cheese? Saying the Italians don't know their cheese? They know their cheese. I mean, I don't know if I trust their cheese necessarily. I don't think I'd eat it myself, but that's just because it's illegal in the UK. It's not because I wouldn't eat it. Definitely not. Right? Wrong. Okay, so let's get that off screen now. The show team gang, I believe, are here in their droves. Wow, what an honor. So let's put the team on the screen. This is what we're rocking and rolling with this week. Is this team saved? It is. Final week for the assistant manager, and then that godforsaken chip can finally go away. Like that Scandinavian rotten fish thing. Yeah, I'm not convinced that anyone likes that. I don't even think that's a delicacy. I think that is just a... Is it from Norway? I think that's just the Norwegians playing a prank on the rest of the world. I think it's like the Norwegian... Those like fermented Norwegian fishes that apparently people eat. I think that's the equivalent of the drop bear of Australia. It's an in-joke that the country has to trick all the tourists. Yeah, eat this rotten fish. We all eat it, I promise you. You know, go on. They're fooling us. They're tricking us. They want to see us eat gross things. Matt says, got Castagna, Hall and Trent starting in defence. Vandenberg, which defender? Well, Vandenberg is injured, so you're going to play Castagna, Hall and Trent, right? Because Vandenberg's injured anyway. Oh, it's Swedish. I'm so sorry. Strumming. Strumming? Strumming? Don't diss Norway. I'm so sorry, Norway. I'm so wrong. It's the naughty Swedish people that are trying to trick us. Maybe the Swedes are even trying to trick the Norwegians, saying, "Hey, our cousins across the border, eat this fish. Haha, it's gross. We don't really eat it. Tricked you. Haha." It's a prank. Prank played on the rest of the world. But anyway, going back to Matt's super chat. Yeah, you can't play Vandenberg because he is unavailable. So you're going to have to play Castagna, Hall and Trent. Rogers to Dango, not free hitting in Gameweek 29. For free, I would do the Rogers to Dango move. I say I would do it. I literally did do it. I would be happy with that move. Pronounce the R in certain strumming. Strumming? I mean, I tried. It's not easy. Right, start Palmer or Rogers. I think you start Palmer ahead of Rogers, surely. Slot out for a hit? Nope. Salim says, if you're ranked 3 million, who will you consider as captain in Burma or Dango? I'd take a punt on Burma if I was ranked 3 million and just was playing for fun at this point. I just go for Burma. AJ says, can't decide whether to start Trent or Joao Pedro. It's really close. It's really, really close. You maybe back the attacker and go for Joao Pedro. You keeping slot this game week? Yes, I am. Wood or Cliver long term? Cliver, I think. Stick to FPL back on Tuesday. Well, that's the tricky thing because the next deadline's on Tuesday, so I don't know when it will be back, but it will be back. Did you activate Assistant Manager this game week? No, I activated it in Game Week 24. So this is going to be my last week of the Assistant Manager. Arteta or Glasner? Depends how spicy you're feeling. I think I'll probably go risky and go for Glasner, but it would strike the fear in me for sure. I'm chasing rank. Should I do a -4 to bring in Wissa? Probably wouldn't do that, no. I would maybe captain Burma if you're really chasing, though. Rogers out for Dango for -4? I don't think so. I think I'd just play Rogers, I think. Unless you know you're going to take a hit anyway later down the line, but like even then, one extra week of information is always good. Ange says, I'm becoming an Ipswich fan for one day. We got the McKenna assistant managers here. Apparently. Nate says, thank you for your hard work. No problem, Nate. Slot to right. I'll say this again because, you know, I think the last time I mentioned this was probably like an hour ago, and there's probably new people in here. I personally, if I had Slot or Emery, and I do have Slot, I would not be taking a hit to remove them. I personally would not take a hit to remove Slot or Emery. Different people will have different opinions on that, and I think that's fine too. It is not something I would personally consider as a blanket statement, just to try and give my opinion to as many people as possible. Any transfer that involves selling Slot or Emery for a -4 to any other manager is not something I would be happy about doing, and I don't think I would do it. So hopefully that answers that. Carter says, guys, if you found anything in this video helpful, like the stream. That would be actually quite nice, actually. Yeah, please do. Feel free to like the stream if you've found it helpful, useful, enjoyable in any way. Start Gordon or Rogers. Should we flash up the bench list again for a couple of minutes before we head into the deadline where we'll do a bit of quick fire? because a lot of people have bench-related questions coming in at the last second. And hopefully most of them should be answered on screen now. Including Kirkes and Trent and Verbruggen and Kepa. Seeing a lot of you guys saying that kind of stuff. Woodall Rogers. Yeah, we got you covered. We got you covered. Surely bench Trent. For who? It's a toss-up, man. It's really, really tight. I think I'm going to play Trent, though. Enzo's not on there, but he would go, like, super low. He would go low. Virgil, Kirkes, Robinson, Mikalenko, Hall. Which two should be on the bench? Mikalenko and Virgil would go on the bench for me. Captain Cliver, if you really want to, he doesn't make my top 3 favourites, but I recognise that he could, you know, has that high upside. High upside. Ian, yes, is the answer to what you've just said. If you want an assistant manager 30 to 32, you probably need to go for a free hit 29 strat. Probably. 2-minute warning, guys. Probably less than 2 minutes now to set your team. So make sure you guys, even if you have to close down the stream in order to do it, make sure you guys are on the FPL app. You've set your team. Everyone's in the right order, in the right places. The captain's on the right guy. Your transfers have gone through. Refresh the page. Reload the app. Make sure everything is looking good. I'm going to do exactly the same and just give a little refresh to make sure everything is saved and everything is looking beautiful. Absolute beauty. So, there we go. There we go. Oscar says, I miss some of you content creators going a little differential with captaincy. I miss it too, man. I miss it too. But Salah is having such a freak season that no one else is coming close to him. So it's so difficult. I miss the days where it would be a different captain each week. I really do. But it's not possible right now. Salah's doing too well. He's unbeatable in FPL terms. Record-breaking season. Yeah, it's not good. Don McKenna, mucked up. Could be fine. I'm going Watkins captain to try and gain rank. Plus, I'm a Villa fan. Thoughts? You're a Villa fan, so, you know, double jeopardy for you. Good luck. Right. Am I 100% happy with my team? Pickford, Gabriel, Kirkes. Yes, sir. Looking good. We're looking good. And the deadline is about to pass. I'm not going to stay for the team news, actually, by the way, guys. Because there is a chance I can see my darling wife, Morgan, before she leaves for work. Because she's leaving for work in like 2 minutes' time, I think. I can hear her jangling her keys, so she's getting ready to leave. So if I end the stream at deadline, I might be able to catch her and say goodbye. So sorry, guys, but, you know, family comes first. And I've been streaming for like 2.5 hours. So, like, we've been going ages. I think we've done our work today. I think we've done our work. Yeah, she's going to work. She's a paramedic, so she works nights often. There we have it, guys. Deadline has passed. I'm not going to blow the... Should I blow the whistle today? Yeah, why not? Full-time. Apologies to all the dogs and all the babies that are listening to the stream right now. But the full-time whistle is gone. The deadline is passed. There we have it, guys. Congratulations. We made it through another game week of difficult decisions. Oh, let's see what happens. I'm praying for some big returns from the likes of Bournemouth and Worcester tonight. Looking forward to it, guys. But I am going to go now. So thank you so much for joining me on the stream today. Make sure you do subscribe if you haven't done already. We're going to be back for videos probably Sunday. Because we got a quick turnaround. So I want to get back on the videos probably Sunday. So I'll see you guys then. Good luck this game week. Enjoy the football, guys. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. And I will see you later. Mate, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.